They're set. We should be live now across Facebook and YouTube, and we're live here on Zoom. So good morning. I'll just give everybody a moment or two to get settled before we get everything going here, because it's nice to just kind of catch our bearings, be in place, and then we can fully engage with this morning's program. If you're looking for the program all on falls prevention and stress management for aging adults, you're in the right place. Hopefully we're all aging adults at some point in the process. So I'm glad you made it today. Debbie, we are live and just respecting everybody's time. Let me turn on the recording and we'll go ahead and get started if that sounds good to you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Great. No, you're welcome. Thank you. All right. So we are recording this. And we are streaming it live on the internet to Zoom. We're live here on Zoom. We're streaming this live on YouTube and Facebook. So if those are easier, if you want to go ahead and share this with anyone, if anything happens today and that you'd like to share it with folks after the fact, you can go find it on our YouTube channel. Just go out to YouTube and look for the Thomas Crane Public Library. It's as easy. You can also just go to youtube.com/Thomas Crane Public Library. You can also find us on Facebook, where the video is also live streaming. So if that's easier for folks, if you want to share it with people that way, that also works. I'll just say a couple words of introduction and we'll get this program started. I'm Clayton Cheever. I'm the Assistant Director at the Thomas Crane Public Library in Quincy, Massachusetts. And I'm so glad you're able to join us on this rainy day. We certainly needed the rain. So hopefully it's bringing you peace and helping rejuvenate some of the plants that you have outside or that you enjoy looking at outside. We have a lot happening here at the library all the time. There's a great program happening tonight that I want to draw your attention to. Many of you know yesterday, there's kind of a contentious, approach to the day with some people calling it in some parts of the country, it's Columbus Day, other parts of the country, it's Indigenous Peoples Day. Well, we thought, let's look at Indigenous people and the point of contact. We have another program next month looking more focused at that actual point of contact. But we have an opportunity to have the person who wrote a book on the Native Americans of New England. And he's a history professor at the University of Lowell, and he's presenting a program at 7 o'clock tonight all about the Indigenous population and in the history of Indigenous people here in this area that we all live. So I encourage you to come at 7 o'clock. It should be a fascinating program tonight. It'll be here live on Zoom, and we'll also be on our YouTube and Facebook channels. And you can find the links for that in our calendar. There's lots more happening, lots of previous videos you can go watch, everything from concerts and learning how to cook various healthy things to political conversations and topics about, the most current issues of the day. We've had a bunch of programs all around climate change and different approaches to that recently. So I encourage you to go and check it out. There's just so much happening. The library is open for people to come if you'd like to place holds that you'd like to come and pick up. If you need to use technology or if you know people who need to use a computer, it's not working well at home, you can make an appointment and come in and do that safely. And I encourage you to just let me know if there's anything else that we can do to make things better for you. My email address is ccheever@ocln.org. As I said, I'm the Assistant Director, and I'm just glad that you're all here. I'll be turning off my video and muting my microphone here shortly, but Debbie will be with you the entire time. As I mentioned, I see a couple of folks have got some cameras on, which is totally fine. And Debbie does love to see people. It's hard to do these programs when you're just doing it to a camera and not seeing any reaction from folks. So I do encourage you to keep your cameras on if you can for Debbie, if you're comfortable with that. Do know that we will not be broadcasting those across YouTube and Facebook. So if you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook, you only see the spotlighted camera. But you can certainly come out here to Zoom, and I'll put the link so you can join the Zoom group on Facebook and YouTube. I also wanted to say one last thing before I get out of the way, which is Debbie and I have been talking about ways to continue this. And we've exchanged a couple of emails, but I'm not even sure, Debbie, if you've seen my most recent, I just sent it like minutes ago. We would love to continue doing this on Tuesday, the first and third Tuesdays in November and December. So I've gone ahead and booked those. You can, if you really enjoy this in the last 3 sessions, which you can go and find recordings of, you can join us again on the first and third Tuesdays in the next 2 months. So I look forward to welcoming you all back then. So Debbie, without further ado, let me mute myself and welcome you. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, good morning, and thank you once again, Clayton, and thank you for having me here. I'm Debbie Lyn Toomey, Injury Prevention Coordinator from Tufts Medical Center, and again, I want to thank the Quincy Public Library, for allowing me to be able to continue my work out into the community and promote ways for the public to learn ways to reduce their injuries. So I started back in September, the week of fall, and that's when we kicked off the first session, which was the falls prevention aspect of the program. And I talked about the importance of exercises and just being active, really, to be able to continue to live more easily, move more easily, and also to help with your health and well-being. The following week, I talked about mindfulness and how it can help us with our ability to quiet our minds, reduce our stress, and also continued the conversation about the importance of coordination and exercises and how physical exercises can actually benefit and enhance our brain function as well as our memory. Then last week I talked about, which was the third week, I talked about communication skills. Who can't, I was just in a meeting we were, the person I was talking with, we were talking about the importance of communication skills because yes, everybody talks, we speak, and we have body languages, but sometimes our body language is not congruent with what we're saying, or we feel that we don't have the right to speak up for ourselves, or that we have so much distraction that we forget what we want to share with our specialists or doctors. And that's what I talked about last week. And it happened to be last week was the awareness for health literacy. So that's just basically a ways for us to learn how to communicate more simply to others, us meaning people who work in the hospitals, nurses, doctors, pharmacists, physical therapists, everybody who works in the healthcare system, reminding us to be able to not speak the medical lingo so much when we are talking with our patients, but to make it so that it's easier to understand and for people to remember. And likewise, because of that week, Health Literacy Week, also the importance of the public to learn to seek out more information for themselves. Of course, in legitimate type websites and resources, because as you all know, there's like fake news and fake information, real information. So being a smart consumer, being a smart advocate for yourself, knowing which sites to go to is very important. And as promised in this program is any information that I share with you comes from either the CDC or the National Institutes for Health, a lot of governing bodies who really regulate the information that goes out to the medical healthcare system and also to the public. So this week, I will be kind of pulling everything together and be able to share with you more information for that's going to help with injury prevention and also stress reduction. And as I like to do the structure of the program, I will be doing a slideshow presentation for about 15-20 minutes, and the rest of the time I will shut off the screen share and do some exercises with you. Okay, and once again, thank you, Clayton. We will continue this program November and December 1st and 3rd Tuesday, same time on November and December. I'll be covering more information with you because there's just so much to cover. All right, so without further ado, I want to just take a nice deep breath. This is for myself, and maybe you could use the breath as well, just to be centered and to kind of allow the whole mind, body, being to kind of like settle into this almost like a snow globe of body that we have. So taking a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, in through the nose. And if you could hold it for a few seconds, out through the mouth. Again, in through the nose out through the mouth. One more time. In through the nose and out through the mouth. All right, so I'm going to begin the slide share. Here. All right. Can you see this slide share? I just want to make sure. Can you just give me a nod if you can? Okay, wonderful. Thank you
Definitely.
so
And
much.
Debbie, I wanted to let you know I put links for it, all four, since you gave me these in PDFs. I put those in the chat if anybody wants to have a copy
Oh,
there. And I'll be putting links on our website as well. So if people want to look on the from our blogs, I'll put a blog post so people can look at these later.
great. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
All right, so here we are, October 13th. Can you believe it? Time is flying by. All right, so let's see here. Week 4. And once again, it's combining the skills that we've learned in the prior weeks to create a practical plan to age stronger, and also, I might add, to enhance our quality of life. It's one thing to age stronger, but to have a quality of life, that's so important as well. And once again, any information that you may hear from my program, if you have any questions about it, please ask me. But more importantly, if you're not sure if any of the exercises or any of the information just doesn't quite make sense, please consult, ask your doctor. Okay, so I want to once again kind of go back to week 1. So just briefly, week 1 was all about exercises and how we could have a stronger body. And falls is one of those topics that is very very popular in a way for, especially in my department, the trauma department at Tufts Medical Center, as well as the ER department, because a lot of people get admitted with unintentional falls. Unintentional falls, basically accidental falls. It could be from somebody who is sitting down on their chair and reaching for something, and they maybe twisted the wrong way, or they didn't, that object was a bit too far, but they still wanted to just stay on that chair, and they reached and they fell from the chair. Or maybe they're on the ladder, maybe they're cleaning their gutters or up on the tree, pruning it, falling down. Or just maybe tripping and falling, walking the streets and not seeing, misjudging the sidewalks and tripping and falling. So many different reasons for falling. So falls basically means any unintentional landing on a surface. So even if you catch yourself, um, even if you fell and you didn't have any like broken bones, but you had some bruises or scratches, those are considered falls. I tripped and fell 3 weeks ago. I was on my way home. I was in the parking lot, and there was these pebbles on the parking lot, and my shoe just didn't land on it the right way, and my ankle twisted, and I just kind of tripped, and I ended up with a little bruise. So that made me aware to pay attention to what I'm doing, and also to just be extra mindful of the little pebbles that was around that area, because those little pebbles can make a big difference in how we continue to move or fall. All right, so exercises that was recommended by the National Institute on Aging, they're recommending that we have different ways of exercising or moving our body. I was mentioning before how sometimes I don't really like to use the word exercise, because for some people that can be very daunting. They feel like they have to really build up a lot of sweat, or they need to go to the gym and work out, or they need to kind of really do these really hard, intense exercises. But so movements, any type of movements that's going to enhance your ability to any type of movement that's going to enhance your ability to move better and stretch better and be able to have that better endurance and coordination and balance. That's very important. And as we get older, our body still needs to move. It's not just reserved for when we were younger, when we were able to move faster and we were more agile. we still need to move. That's just the nature of our body. If we don't move our body, it's going to get really stiff, and it's going to make us become a long term. This is like deconditioned. It's going to make us weak. It's going to make our muscles weak. It's going to make our joints stiffer. It's going to make our ability to think that we are able to move faster. It's going to, that confidence level may not be as high. So the more we're able to move, exercise, or, just kind of flex, stretch, the better for our body. And dancing is a great activity if you like to dance. You could dance by yourself in your kitchen, in your living room, or you could just kind of, if you have friends to dance with, very, very wonderful exercise. Or even walking. Walking is a nice way to be able to get the coordination, the balance, the flexibility, depending on where you're walking, of course. So that's week 2. And then that's week 1. And then week 2, I continued the conversation about the importance of balance and coordination, and memory, and also quieting the mind, because, studies have shown that when we can exercise our body, guess what? Our brain is a part of our body. Our brain is a muscle. It's a big, big, beautiful muscle in our skull. So when we are exercising and moving our body, we are also exercising our brain, its ability to work better, its ability to get more oxygen in it, so that we're able to kind of nourish the cells in the brain. And at the same time, we're helping with the memory. So it makes for a wonderful package when we are moving more. So another technique that I shared was mindfulness on week 2. And according to John Kabat-Zinn, it's paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. There's a lot of different definitions to mindfulness. Some people say it's just being in the present moment, being in the now. So again, lots of different definitions, but basically it's you being able to pay attention to what's going on in you and around you at that very moment with no judgment. All right, so this is one of the exercises that I shared on week 2. So let's do that right now, even though I'm not able to see you all too well because I have my slide share screen here. So let's do, wherever you are, if you could sit up straight a little bit, and if your legs are crossed, if you can uncross them, and let's take a nice deep breath in through the nose, nice and slowly, and I will count. All you have to do is follow my lead. So breathe in for the count of 3 through the nose. 1, 2, 3, and then hold that breath. 1, 2, 3, and then breathe out through the mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so let's do that a few more times. So I'll count for the count of 3. So you breathe in for 3, you hold for 3, and you breathe out for 6. So again, breathe in through the nose for the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold for 3. 1, 2, 3. Out for 6 through the mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do that 2 more times. In through the nose. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time. In through the nose. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Then out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. And once again, if you want the notes, I created my slides into a PDF, and I believe Clayton just said it's in the chat. So feel free to click on that and download it before we end this program today. So yes, last week I talked about also how, different ways that we can remember to communicate better and to ask and share information with our doctors or any specialists that we may be having the appointment with. So preparing for your visit, remembering to have or challenge yourself to ask 3 to 4 questions, sharing any type of symptoms or information that you think that particular person needs to know. If you're going to see a new doctor, especially a new doctor or new physician or new specialist, bring your medications and your vitamins in the actual container. Okay, so that way they could see what you're taking. Also, if you have a schedule for your medications all written out, bring that as well. Any type of share any information about your health habits and any major changes in your life. It could be, like maybe somebody that you're very close to may have gotten hurt, or, there's something like any major changes in your life that could impact your stress level, is something that's important to share with your doctor as well. Take notes on what the doctors are saying, and don't be afraid to ask them to repeat. Also, remember that when you're making any type of decisions, or when the doctor is making any suggestions, that the suggestion is it's a suggestion on how to best take care of you, and it's important for you to also discuss with your doctors if the suggestion is realistic for you, because a specialist might say you need X, Y, and Z, but you or a person may not have access to get those things, or have the financial or the money to get that, or maybe their insurance changed and the coverage may be different. So always letting your doctors know, or any type of specialist that you're with, know that you have concerns about getting any type of particular medications or any type of equipment or resources. Very important to share that with them. So that way, before you leave that meeting, that appointment, you both of you know that there is a concrete plan for you, so that you can have a way to expect certain things, like maybe a phone call from a case manager or a phone call from somebody. So always do that. Always make sure that your opinions and also your concerns are heard. Also, if you have any hearing problems, or of course visual problems, and you need special glasses or your hearing aid, always bring that with you. As mentioned last week, my parents are, they live close to me, and whenever possible, I try to go to their appointments with them, because I'm their transport, I'm their eyes and their ears. All right. All right. So also making sure that you don't feel rushed when you have your appointments with your doctors. I mean, everybody, of course, the doctor has another person to see, but, use your time with that doctor or nurse, physician assistant in a smart way. And one of the best ways to do that is to come prepared with your questions, and also to relay any questions or any information that the doctors may be asking more of you, and also just making sure that you understand everything that you're supposed to understand for that particular appointment. Okay, and same likewise, that the doctor is understanding everything that you are wanting him or her to understand. All right, so moving along, this week is as mentioned last week, October has, and every month has, a lot of awarenesses, and I'm going to be sharing with you a few awareness, because they can impact our stress level. And when our stress level is high and chronically high, that's going to impact our immune system, our overall health and well-being. And also, guess what? It might make us become mindless and not think about when we are doing things and lead to potential injuries. So all of these factors go hand in hand. So Breast Cancer Awareness Month is this month, and it's a worldwide awareness. And as far as the United States goes, 1 in 8 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime, unfortunately. And it's the breast cancer is most common. It's the most common cancer in the American women, except for skin cancers. And it's estimated that in 2020, about 30% of all new women, cancer diagnosis will be breast cancer, unfortunately. And then over 3.5 million breast cancer survivors are in the United States, which is great. My mother is one of them. And on the average, every 2 minutes, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer. Yeah. But there is good news. There is good news. There is a reduction of the incidence rates of breast cancer amongst women aged 50 and older, thank goodness. And also the death rates from breast cancer have been going down since 1990. So for the last 30 years, it's been going down because of better screening, early detection, and also just awareness. And that's why I'm here bringing this awareness to all of you, not just the seniors, but the aging population. So that way they can be more mindful about, going for their routine checkups. Also, I'm not sure if you're aware, but breast cancer also happens in men in much lower rates, but men do also suffer from breast cancer. All right, so moving right along, Mental Illness Awareness Week. Okay, so 1 in 5 adults have a mental health condition. That should be up. And suicide is the 10th leading cause of death. Mood disorders, like bipolar disorders, are the 3rd most common cause of hospitalization, both youth and adults from age 18 to 44. Okay, that's from the National Alliance on Mental Illness. 7% of adults had at least one major depressive episode in their past. And 40 million Americans, more than the basically 40 million Americans is more than the population of New York and Florida combined. So that's a lot of Americans with the diagnosis of mental illness. And, I want to add that it's also, besides bringing awareness to the mental illness, to also knocking down or removing the stigma around mental illness, because it's going to allow more people to get more help, because there might be some people suffering from mental illness, but they're afraid of being stereotyped, or people will treat them differently. It's important to really, just like any type of physical illness, like a diagnosis, like a cancer, mental illness is real, and it can be so debilitating for so many people. And if they can seek help, it can make a big difference in their life, and also the people they live with, or their friends, or people they work with. So removing the stigma around mental illness is so important. All right, so if there's any crisis, worried about somebody, there is a 1-800 number. And also, this is a very busy infographic, but really some common warnings about mental illness. If you are around somebody who has been very, very sad and withdrawn for at least 2 weeks, like consecutively, and they seem like they're not eating, or they're not taking care of themselves, or just look so not like themselves, trust your intuition. There might be something going on that maybe, it's good for you to connect with them, to check on them more frequently, see how they're doing. Okay. Also, if somebody's trying to harm or end their life, or making plans to do so, severe out of control risk-taking behavior that causes harm to self or others, a sudden overwhelming fear for no reason, and sometimes with a racing heart, or physical discomfort or difficulty breathing, any significant changes in weight, one way or another. Maybe they stop eating because they don't feel like eating, or maybe they're eating a lot because that's how they're trying to comfort themselves. So, that opposite range of the weight gain and loss, something to also kind of cue into, all right? Either in others, people that you care about, people in your community, or even in yourself, okay? So seeing or hearing or believing things that aren't real. So kind of having the delusional type hearing or seeing or hallucination, very important to, talk to somebody about that. Excessive alcohol or drugs, drastic changes in the mood, behavior, personality, or sleeping, extreme difficulty concentrating, and also staying still, being very like hyper vigilant, like restless and always kind of like moving, very fidgety, very panicked, or very kind of nervous and scared. Intense worries or fears that get into the daily activities of daily living. So these are just some warnings of mental illness to kind of remember. Again, you have the handouts, but feel free to also look at the resource, the NAMI resource. That website is really good, packed with really good information about mental illness. Okay, so it's important, once again, knowledge is power. The more you learn about these type of illnesses out there, the more you'll be able to realize and be able to kind of be mindful of what you see in others and also yourself. And also, if you notice that in others, especially somebody you love and care about, or even yourself, please contact your doctor or this 1-800 number. Okay, so moving along, this is an interesting one that kind of is a nice segue to from the mental illness in a way. A national poll on healthy aging university, not on healthy aging, this is done by the University of Michigan. And they compared loneliness and social contacts on the people aged 50 to 80, and they compared October 2018 with what's going on now, March and June of 2020, the pandemic. And this is what they found. In October 2018, there was a 34% rate of adults aged 50 to 80 who felt a lack of companionship. But then this year, over the spring, summer, because of the pandemic, maybe, that went up. Same thing with feeling isolated from others. It was 27% 2 years ago, and now it's 56%, so almost doubled. And then having infrequent social contact, it was 28% and 46% here. So it's just very interesting to see, because of what maybe going on in the pandemic, and how overly cautious and extra cautious people were because of social distancing, and also watching the numbers, making sure that we're abiding by the rules, that companionship, loneliness, social isolation were affected. So how can we take care of that? How can we promote more interaction, less loneliness? Okay, so good way is what you're doing right now is just being connected, staying in tune. Hopefully people have phones, iPads, computers, and they can seek out information for themselves, or seek out groups who have regularly scheduled programs where they can interact with people, learn things that's meaningful for them, and also be able to continue being able to kind of stay in tune with what's going on in life. So whether it's looking at and being a part of programs that's offered in the Quincy Public Library, or interacting with your neighbors, or connecting with friends over Zoom, or if you have an iPhone, FaceTime, or if you have a phone, texting them, or just emailing them, or the good old fashioned phone, calling them. It's a good way to kind of help lessen the feelings of loneliness and social isolation. I was just reading an article this morning, the difference between social isolation and loneliness. They kind of are related, and sometimes people use them interchangeably, but they're different. Okay, so social isolation is almost like not, it's, you see people not going to that person frequently. There's less interaction. You know, you're seeing that happening. Loneliness is what a person feels inside. Okay, so you could be in a room full of people, but you could still inside feel lonely, you know? So, you know, different different definitions, but sometimes used interchangeably. And sometimes groups like senior centers or any type of big groups who wants to really promote connectedness and also decrease isolation or loneliness, they sometimes use almost the same type of program, but it's always good to know the difference between the two. All right, so we are almost wrapping up with the slide share portion. So a skill that I want to share with you that's been very effective for me and very is a research proven skill and practice that can help people boost their emotions. It's a positive emotion booster. It helps with health and well-being. It strengthens relationships. It increases life satisfaction. It helps with sleep and so much more. It helps people live a longer and more abundant life. So gratitude, according to Robert Emmons, is a felt sense of wonder. That's one part. And then also another part of gratitude is being thankful. And also a third part is appreciation of life. Okay, so, you know, I like to give the example of when you see this time of the year, the foliage is so beautiful, the different colors of orange and yellows and reds and greens, it's just so gorgeous, right? And seeing that, you know, compared to what those maybe same trees looked like maybe a month and a half ago, beautiful, green and luscious. But somehow through nature, especially in the part of the country we live in, we have this gorgeous foliage season that's occurring right now. Okay, so when you practice gratitude and you look at that, you are looking at it with a sense of wonder, just like, oh my gosh, right? And you're being grateful for it. And you are appreciating the fact that this is natural. This is not man-made. This is something that came from the earth, that was not ordered from Amazon and wasn't delivered 2 days later. It's just something that is like beyond us, you know, it's a part of life. So that is a practice of gratitude in that aspect. And just to kind of reiterate it, when you practice gratitude, especially in the form of gratitude journal, and you practice it at night before you go to bed, it's been shown to help enhance sleep because you're ending your day and about to transition into that sleep mode with a grateful brain, grateful mind. So it helps you kind of relax, feel good, and then be able to kind of ease into your sleep. All right, so gratitude, there is a practice called 3 Good Things, and we can do it and put it on if you have a journal or a notebook or a piece of paper. I invite you to do it for maybe 2 weeks until we see each other again. You know, every day in the evening before you go to bed, grab a piece of paper or a little notebook. Jot down 3 good things that happened to you that day or the day before. 3 good things, okay? And then once you jot them down and once you list them, right? Explain to yourself, kind of like write a sentence or two, why you considered them good. Why did they make it into your gratitude journal? Okay, so kind of explain why. And then the third part is noticing how these good things made you feel. Okay, because once again, gratitude has been proven to be a positivity booster, an energizer, energy boosting practice, and also helps with longevity and also helps with overall health and well-being. All right, so we have about 15 minutes left. of the program. So I'm going to go off this slide share in a second, but these are what we're going to practice. We're going to practice the body scan, which we did last week, and progressive muscle relaxation. And I will actually also ask you to share with me one or two good things in the chat that you're grateful for today. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? Please, when I get off the slide share, you can either type it in or unmute yourself. And once again, I want to thank you. My name is Debbie Lyn Toomey, Injury Prevention Coordinator from Tufts Medical Center. I'm going off the slide share now. I keep saying slide share, but it's screen share. All right, so here we go. All right. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to ask you to type in, if you can, or unmute yourself and share one or two good things that's happened to you either today, yesterday, or both. Can we take a few seconds for that? And while I'm waiting, I'm going to share with you, I'll share with you one thing. Well, there's a lot this weekend, but I was able to go for a walk, which was nice. See my parents, which was nice. So that's two. And three, my family and I had a dinner for my oldest son and his new wife, and a nephew and his new wife last night. So it was really a great dinner. So I was grateful for that. And the reason why I'm grateful for that was it was a nice way to kind of gather as a family. And it really made me feel good to be able to be there for my family and my nephew and his new wife. All right, so I don't see anything in the chat, but if you're still working on your gratitude, I'm going to just invite you to just jot them down and just kind of look at them and add on to it today. All right, and really, I encourage you to do this practice for 2 weeks until we see each other again, and notice how it makes you feel. Notice how much you like it. Okay, and one of the best ways to do this is if you have a notebook. I'm looking for. I don't have my notebook here. So if you have, oh, here's my notebook. There's an example of my little notebook. So if you have a notebook and you want to start doing the gratitude journal, you write down your 3 gratitudes, explain why you're grateful for them and how they made you feel, and then put your pen in your journal. And then what I did for over a year when I did this practice, I would put this on top of my pillow so that before I went to bed that night, I would see my gratitude journal waiting for me and in a way asking me, what good things happened to you today? So it was there already for me. So I would write it down and then I would put it aside on my nightstand, go to bed, and then the following morning after I'm done making my bed, I take my gratitude journal and I put it on my pillow. So once again, what I'm doing is like doing little actions to set myself up for success, to remember my new habit that I want to do. And also it's a way for me to just really not have to waste time looking for my journal. So that's a good way to do that gratitude journal practice. All right, so now I will do, oh. All right, okay. Oh, Eileen, thank you, Eileen. Okay, grateful for a 25th wedding anniversary. Okay. All right, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Taking a deep breath. That's wonderful. All right. So the good thing about when people practice gratitude and they share with you what they're grateful for, in a way, you're just kind of like feeling that gratefulness, that special moments with that person. It's that, it's our ability as human beings to kind of like understand or relate to that wonderful feeling and just kind of feel good inside yourself. So that was a nice blessing, a nice gift in return. So thank you. All right, so we are going to keep looking at the clock because I'm mindful of your time. All right, and so let's practice a body scan exercise. And we did this last week, I believe, and the week before. So what I'm going to do is invite you to sit up straight and with your head over your heart and your heart over your belly. And again, if your legs are crossed, uncross them. If you can put your hands on your lap, that's great. It doesn't matter if it's like face down or up, as long as it's down like this, okay? Okay, so let's, and I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, so that way you're less likely to get distracted. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can just kind of look down at the ground, so that way, once again, you're less distracted with what's going on in the room. And so let's begin. Breathing in through the nose. And there's no count. And we're just breathing into the nose and noticing that breath, the coolness of that breath. And then breathing out through the mouth, maybe feeling the warmth of the breath as it leaves the mouth. Again, breathing in through the nose. Staying with that breath as long as you can. And then breathing out through the mouth. And just check in with your body right now, just noticing how your body feels just after taking those deep breaths. So let's again breathe in. And breathe out. Then bringing your attention to the very top of your head, just noticing the very top of your head. Noticing how that feels. If your mind wanders and gets distracted, just call your mind, your attention and awareness back to the top of your head. And then shifting the attention down to your forehead. And then down to your ears, practicing some mindful listening for a few seconds, just listening for sounds in your room right now. And now bringing your attention down to your jaw, noticing your jaw, your neck and shoulders, your chest, noticing the rise and fall of your chest. Then your elbows, your fingertips, all 10 fingertips. Noticing your belly, noticing the rise and fall of your belly. And your buttocks, noticing your buttocks, noticing how it's sitting on the chair you're sitting on, noticing how the chair feels also. The chair that you're sitting on, is it soft? Is it comfortable? Is it like a fabric? Can you feel the softness of the fabric underneath? Is there a cushion underneath that? Or is it a wooden chair you're sitting on? Or a metal chair you're sitting on? Just noticing the chair, what it feels like. Then going down to your thighs, your knees, your shins, your calves, your ankles, the top of your feet, the arch of your feet, just the arch of your feet. Can you just bring awareness to the arch of your feet? Bring awareness to all of your 10 toes. And then bring awareness to your whole body all at once, your whole body. Can you scan your whole body all at once? And then bringing your breath back through the nose, in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes, come back to the room, wiggle your hand, move your hands, move your toes, maybe rub your hands a little bit. All righty, that's good. All right, so the next one I want to do, we have a few more minutes left, is the progressive muscle relaxation. Progressive muscle relaxation. All right, so this one we will start with the feet. We will focus on, I will tell you which parts of the body to contract momentarily and then let go. Okay, so basically it's unlike the body scan meditation where you sat there and you mentally took note and you scanned different parts of your body. You weren't doing anything. Your mind was the one that was just kind of taking note of what's going on in your body. Progressive muscle relaxation, you're doing the work. You're purposely isolating muscle groups and you're contracting them and you're tightening them and you're releasing them. When you do that, you're addressing different muscle groups, of course, and when you release, you're releasing, you're reminding that muscle to release the tension. Because sometimes we have these muscle memories that gets into this habit of just being contracted all the time or just tense, you know? So if we could kind of isolate certain muscle groups and remind it to relax and let go of any tension, then we are helping that muscle group, which will help the whole body. All right, so let's begin at the feet. Contracting the feet at the same time, nice and tight. The feet, curl up the feet, the toes. Okay, as much as you can. Curl it up, curl it up, curl it up. And let go. Okay, so once again, let's start with the feet. Curl up your toes, curl your toes, curl, and as much as you can. I know you're wearing shoes, and let go. Okay, and now your thighs. Okay, if it helps, put your hands on your thighs and just kind of watch your thighs kind of go up and down when you contract it. Okay, so that's just a way for you to know that you're contracting your thigh muscles. Okay, so let's contract both thigh muscles together right now. So tighten it, tighten as much as you can, and relax. Okay, let's do that a couple more times. Tighten the thigh muscles, tight, and relax. And again, tighten it, tight, and relax. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the buttocks. Okay, so you're gonna squeeze your buttocks as hard as you can, and then we're gonna relax. So 1, 2, 3, squeeze the buttocks, squeeze, relax. Okay, again, squeeze as hard as you can, relax. Again, squeeze, and relax. Okay, and by the way, I went to see my chiropractor last week, and she said that's a good exercise. So just kind of like squeeze the thighs and the buttocks muscles. That's a good exercise for those of us who are on the computer a lot or sitting down a lot. It's a good way for us to kind of help strengthen our our buttocks muscles in the low back and hips area. Okay, so let's do the upper arms. So we're going to contract the upper arms like this. Tight, 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 and relax. And notice when your body does one of these, that means you just help release tension. So my body like that one. All right, ready? Tight, 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 and release. Okay, one more time. Tight, 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 nice and tight, and release. Now the shoulders. We're going to raise both shoulders up to the ears, up, 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 and down. Up, 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 and down. Again, up, 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 and down. And now the face, we're going to scrunch up the face and smile at the same time because that contracts the face. We hold tension on our face, and it's good to let the tension release, okay? So let's squeeze the eyes and smile and just kind of squint nice and tight, 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 and release. Again, nice and tight, 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 and smile at the same time. Tighten the eyes and release. Okay, one more time. Tighten the eyes, around the eyes, and smile and release. Whew. That's good. All right, let's see if we could do the whole body all at once, okay? Let's tighten up the whole body. So let's start from the toes, the thighs, the buttocks, the arms, the shoulders, the face. Tight, 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 tight. And release. Let's do that 2 more times, okay? Whew, that feels good. All right, ready? The toes, curl up the toes, tighten up the thighs, the buttocks, the arms, the shoulders, the face. Tight, 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 tight. And release. One more time. One more time. All right, so the toes, curl up the toes, tighten up the thighs, the buttocks, the arms together, shoulders, squint, smile, tight, 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 and release. Ah, that felt good. All right, so does anybody have any questions for me? If you do, please type it up on the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, please do. I want to thank you again for being here. I want to thank Quincy Public Library for allowing me to continue to do my work out in the community in this way. I love doing this, and I will be back on in November and December. I'll be doing some of this type of program the first and the third Tuesday of both months. Also 10, so from 10 to 11. Okay, so be in the lookout for more information on that. If there's any topics that you want me to address specifically that is under the umbrella of injury prevention or stress management, please type it in or email Clayton because I'd love to be able to, to help be able to maybe find resources for that and talk about it. Okay, so I would value that. All right, so any topics that come to mind or any suggestions come to mind, please type it in or email Quincy Public Library to let them know, okay? So I'll stay on for another 2 or 3 more minutes until to give people a chance to kind of think about any type of topics, any questions that they might have, so that way you can ask that. Don't be shy. Just type it in or unmute yourself. I'll give it another minute. Okay, I think people are still thinking about it. And what I will do once again is if you have any type of topic suggestions that you want me to cover in the next coming weeks, please let me know. Or actually, please let Quincy Public Library know, so that way I can be sure to add that to the list of topics that I share. In the meantime, I want to thank you. And thank you to Quincy Public Library for allowing me to do this program. Have a great day, and I'll see you in November. Take care. Bye-bye.